Folks, look at this beautiful highway. You see the pine trees, the tall pine trees lining the highway. We're definitely in the southeast. So we've driven through deserts, we've driven past mountains, we've driven past cactus. So one of the things I love about crossing the country is I love seeing how the landscape changes. I love how when you go from west to east, how it goes from brown to green, how you see you go from desert to forest. And I love the different types of trees. So, to me, the trees look different. I'm not an expert in trees, but the trees look different in Georgia than they do in Louisiana. Very subtle, they look different, they smell different. Very subtle, but I love the pine trees, but the pine trees on the southeast are different than the pine trees in the west, the northwest, the big California redwoods. So a moment ago in another video we were talking about what would life be like traveling the Roman roads 1,000 years ago. Kind of random, but I wonder often what would life be as a traveling America 1,000 years ago, before there were roads, before there were cars. What would you see? What would you find? How would the journey? What would you eat? How would the journey affect you? What would you think? What would you think if you didn't know all the things that we know? What would you think? What would you be thinking of? What would be going through your heart, through your mind? How would you appraise situations? So sometimes for fun, maybe imagine that. For fun, imagine. It's hard to forget the radio songs that might be running to your head, or the television commercials, or forget modern life, forget your worries about bills, forget all the worries of modern life for just a moment, and step back in time in your imagination. And imagine what it would be like to walk this land, barefoot, or with a pair of loose leather sandals, but to walk this land with very little. To walk this land knowing nothing but, the sun, the moon, the animals, the spirit, where to find water. To walk this land. Let's think about it. Life as you know it is maybe, most of us, cell phones, internet, that stuff is so tied up into our life. All that stuff isn't even 20 years old, television, radio, maybe 100, maybe 50, some semblance of modern television and radio as we know it, maybe 80, 60, 80. Let me think about that. This is 2015. Yeah, modern television as we know it, maybe back in the 30s, I believe, the 40s. I think the 40s. So that's 60 years. 60 years television as we know it. 100 years. That's past your great grandparents. Most of you that are watching this. Well, it depends on how old you are. So most of mankind, we spent at least 100,000 years with just the land, with in a whole different modality, a whole different way of thinking, a whole different way of existing, where there are gods and spirits and demons and witches, and we're in a close relationship. So my friend Anui, he refers to the animals, the spirit animals of his land, abuelo anaconda, grandfather anaconda, abuelo tutorga, grandfather tortoise. So once upon a time, people that lived in the land, they had a close relationship with the animals of the land. They were peers. In fact, and sometimes they were peers, and then sometimes the animals were kind of, how do you address a grizzly bear? What's your relationship if you're out here in these woods with a sharpened stick with a grizzly bear? Grizzly bears are not only huge, but they're pretty smart. They're very smart actually, and it's their world. Now maybe with 6, 7, 8 of you guys with a sharpened stick, you might be able to give a grizzly bear a little bit of comp. But again, sometimes it's fun, and I think put things in perspective to Go back in time with your imagination. Don't get too attached with this current incarnation. Go back in time and remember. Are you imagining or are you remembering? Remember what it's like to walk these woods, to walk these forests, barefooted with a spear, barefooted with a spear and a animal belly that you use to carry your water. Maybe you're maybe you're hunting, maybe you're traveling for water, maybe you're traveling to find a mate, to find a spouse, to find a woman. Maybe you're traveling to find your family. I mean, just think about that for a moment. Next time you go out into whether you're driving on the side of a highway, such as we are now, or whether you go out to the woods. So Cosmic Mystic out.